For the last 14 years, Adam Montiel has been bringing you the stories, the people, and the producers that make wine more fun. Whether you're a connoisseur or a Cork Dork, here we taste it, we spill it, and we leave it all on the table. It's The Pour with Adam Montiel.
Let's do it.
Cheers. World of Pinot Noir. This is so cool. I mean, first of all, this is an event that has evolved so much over the years that I've had the blessing to be involved in it. And now I'm sitting across Stacy, who runs it with Solterra. Of course, Kobe, you used to be president of, and you're still on the board, right? But you used to be presidente of this.
Yeah. The previous 2 years I was president, and now you just get to sit back on the board and not make all the crazy decisions.
Well, I think that's you probably enjoy that.
Definitely less stress.
A little more chill, yeah. And it's not like you
get to enjoy the meetings rather than clamor to what's going to happen next thing.
But you have had, which we're going to get into, you have had a ton of stuff going on in your own right. We're sitting in the brand new El Lugar tasting room.
Yeah.
Can't we just get a little?
Absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah,
very
so
cool.
exciting for what you've done here, and thank God for Katie's eye on stuff. But as we talked off the air, you have a beautiful eye for some stuff too. I was listening to some of the pieces that I was like, because I was so curious, Eric. All right, this has got to be all Katie's. Actually, and the bar is certain things, but I mean, obviously Katie's got an amazing eye, but obviously you do too. I love, if you come taste at El Lugar, we're in Duncan Alley, which is this new cool spot in the Lowbro neighborhood of San Luis Obispo, and you're in this beautiful industrial chic area, and we got these two beautiful windows that literally look into your cellar.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It was, a way to open up a smaller space, allow people kind of into my world, which is making wine, and kind of bridge the gap between the tasting room and production. And so, yeah, we try and showcase as many barrels in less clutter as possible. But it's definitely it's fun. It's good. We're super excited, and we can't be more thankful to all the support people have shown us.
Stacy, would you be okay if there were windows opening up the public to your workspace? I would not.
Ooh, I don't know. My desk right now is a little messy.
I know what you mean. If you saw my desktop, my browser situation, you guys all have a problem with the tabs on your browsers?
We have little curtains.
There you go. Yeah. We're going to talk about the evolution of El Lugar, the new tasting room, how you can come visit. Also, there's some new exciting advancements with my man Eric at Tally.
Hello.
I'm excited to talk to you. Also, I mean, you have been on the board for a long time. You've been secretary, and you've been on this board for a while at WOPN.
Yeah, I think I've been on the board since 2010, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, been a minute. I've been secretary a lot as well. Yes.
You obviously are good at this, because no one could be secretary for this long and then not get you out of there for some reason.
It's it's a tireless job. But someone has to do it. So I'm here for it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Absolutely.
Stacy, Jacob, let's talk about WOPN this year, because we are going to be gathering at the Bacara Resort, Ritz Carlton, once again for a Friday-Saturday excursion that is like none other.
It's going to be amazing. Well, first of all, World of Pinot Noir, we are celebrating 24 years this year, and we will be held February 29th through March 2nd at the Ritz Carlton Bacara, to your point. This year, the theme, I really was kind of thinking about how everything's coming together, and I said, this is really the year of anniversaries. There's a lot of themes of anniversaries going on, and I started thinking back, and we all have an anniversary. Anniversary doesn't have to be your official birthday or your official anniversary, right? It can be what you need it to be. And this is like the anniversary where the industry comes together all in one place. It's always so exciting at the opening night event, where there's so much fun, so much anticipation, and people are seeing each other. Sometimes people only see each other at World of Pinot Noir. This is like their time.
I know. I have people that I literally look forward to see this time of year.
And it was the last event before the world shut down in 2020. Like crazy. Literally a week before.
That.
Like walking through this ballroom, and certain people are like, "Oh, no handshakes, no hugs."
I know.
Like there's something going on around the world. No, I'm like, what are you talking about? There's nothing going on. Like we're here at Bacara, we're on the beach. Like it's all good.
It's all good.
I remember ignoring people from Colorado because they said people, there was an outbreak there, and we're like, oh, we shouldn't hang out with people from Colorado.
The only thing I remember from that time was it literally was like days before, Kobe correctly noted, the world just shut.
Yeah, it was
down.
I think a week later, that Monday,
the 13th, right?
Yeah.
But I remember because of the news and the way things were floating around in like late February, like, I'm so glad we're not canceling this right now, but I'll do fist bumps instead of, just like, giving someone a big dap and then like itching my eye afterwards. You know what I mean? It's like, you never know. Like, then we all became like, and I've always been kind of a germaphobe. So I'm always like, like even I love doing my show at World of Pinot Noir, but I always got like, hand sanitizer down there after like a bunch of interviews and stuff. Yeah. But no, like things have changed, but it's so cool to see the way, one, how everyone missed one another and everyone was so excited to get back. But I got to be really candid, and that's what we always do here. Stacey, we've seen since last year, there is a definite, I don't know if you're feeling this with World of Pinot Noir because we're like in this arena of just like, opulence and beautiful world-class wine. But I feel like my winemaking friends have seen a slowdown in certain things. So I really wanted to get you guys on now to talk about I want folks to come down to the Ritz Carlton Bacara for the Friday, the Saturday, both tastings. We're going to go through the itinerary and just really, I would love to just breathe some fresh life into what people are feeling now, because this is an event you got to be at.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I always remind people the grand tasting, and people are like, oh, grand tastings are passé. And I'm like, no, let's think about this. We're going to have 100 wineries on Friday and a different 100 wineries on Saturday. So if you're up for the 2 days, like, let's go. But if you actually take a look at the wineries that are there, and if you actually had time, first of all, to go to all their tasting rooms and taste, that would be amazing. But the reality is we put them all together in one spot. So we're going to make it really efficient for you. And with today's, how fees are increasing and tasting fees, we want you still to go taste at your wineries. But this is a great value when you think about what you're going to be exposed to, the new wines you can taste. I've actually been doing prep calls with all of the seminar participants. And we had a call this morning with the bubbles panel, and they said, we're going to pour more bubbles at our table in the grand tasting this year because people want a break and they want to taste something different. So there's going to be a great Pinot Noirs, but there's going to be more champagnes and bubbles than we've ever seen before.
I'm so glad you said that, because I've always been so enamored with my boy Bernard from Louis Latour.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even going to mention this because I don't want to dime him out because I like him so much. But like, he will bring a little of that Chardonnay, or he'll bring some stuff there. And it is so much fun to try a little bit what's under the table. But I got to be really honest with you. Like, I was in San Francisco a few weeks ago for Zap. Man, I love Zinfandel. It needs a shot in the arm like no other varietal. Hospice Daron is going to Washington. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But like, I feel like no other event captures the spirit of a varietal and all the people that are famous, quote, for it than World of Pinot Noir.
Yeah, and I have to give the vision to the board. When they made the decision, when we outgrew the Cliffs Resort, which was a great location, and moved the event to the Ritz Carlton Bacara, they said it has to stay coastal and it has to stay on the Central Coast. So when they put those parameters in place, there's not a lot of other places to do it, but what they did is they elevated the whole experience to a whole new level.
Yeah.
But we kept the coastal vibe, which is so important when we're talking about the terroir of how Pinot Noir grows.
And that event grew so, not to get too much into the weeds of history, but like that event grew so beautifully and so fast, where at the last year or two, we were going from the Dolphin Bay to the Cliffs, back and forth. That's how just like robust this event was, like burgeoning at the seams. And I think the Bacara, the Ritz Carlton, is a great event because it's a great venue because it holds us all perfectly.
Well, yeah, and I think that what the Bacara provides for us, it's a campus. Essentially, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we can all post up there. We can do multiple events at the same time, dinners, seminars, whatnot, and most people are there.
Yeah,
and everyone you see is part of it.
Yeah,
and
that's a great point.
It's a really cool campus kind of feel when you're there. It is. We do winemaker tech before that, WOPN tech before that. We always say that's like winemaker camp. This is like elevated winemaker camp when you go to Bacara. Then you get all these consumers in that love Pinot Noir, because you really have to love Pinot Noir to go to this. And then, as Stacey mentioned, you're doing like 200 wineries. From guys that just started making Pinot to these legendary people that have been making Pinot for a long time, it's amazing.
No better food at any wine event either, by the way. Like, you guys throw it down with the food. Like, people pay their price to get in. They taste from all over the world. They get to meet, a lot of times, the principals. Some really, like, you're rubbing shoulders. And if it's not the principals, like, oh, Adam Lee just walked behind me, or there's, this guy or that guy, or that gal. It's incredible.
I met Vanna White
Stop it.
Yeah. So
I feel like this is like I'm getting deja vu. Like you must have posted about it or something. I see this.
Yeah. Hey, so Van and White.
Well,
I mean, come on. It's Van and White.
We've seen Pink walking around.
Alicia. She goes by.
Oh,
Alicia.
sorry, my bad. We're talking two wolves. It's Alicia. Yeah, no, but it's such a cool event. Stacey, let's get down to the itinerary because this is an event, like Eric noted, that has a lot going on. We need a campus to facilitate this. So let's talk about tastings. There are dinners, and when we break this down, obviously, aside from the tech stuff for the industry folks on Thursday, when we break into the party, getting into Friday, what are we talking about?
So we start off both days, Friday and Saturday, with seminars. There's 2 concurrently running seminars. And this is for the folks that want to dive deep. We have amazing moderators this year. I'm so excited on the seminar on Saturday. We're going to do a global blind tasting of Pinot Noir. So this is an opportunity. You're going to come and do a single blind tasting. Julia Coney is going to be leading it along with our friend Evan Goldstein. And we are going to put the best of the best together. And we're going to ask everyone to kind of really exercise their palate and take a journey across the world with us. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
Let me interrupt you really quick because I remember I hate bringing up the pandemic, but during the pandemic, a lot of great stuff came from it. And one was the two of you guys, Kobe and Eric, would do these tastings on like
Thirsty Thursdays,
and you would blind wines.
Yeah,
and I thought that was so cool and so bold because I am so bad at that. I've always I remember one of the first years at the Bacara, I had Dylan Proctor, who was their master sommelier. Or no, he was. If you watch the Saw movie, not quite master sommelier, but he was with other master sommeliers there, and was like blind tasting wines and just nailing them. This is not an easy thing to do. So to blind these at a panel, I mean, you and Kobe both know it's not easy to do.
No, it's not easy to do.
It's a humbling experience.
It's a very humbling experience.
Especially when you're doing it
if you
live.
watch Kobe and I
right?
doing it live. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, like because we were doing that, I guess it'll be 2021 when we started. 2020, 2021, both, I guess.
We tasted over 100 wines.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
It was a blast for us and really, but, bringing it to WOPN, that was one thing we kind of brought along to WOPN because we did one last year that was super successful, and I just think I love it. I love blind tasting, and I'm not getting them right. I'm not like nailing them. Like I'm so good. I love doing this stuff. It's just fun to kind of like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the art, Stacey, of blind tasting is just fun to do. I'm glad you guys are weaving that in.
So that, I think, is one of our really we only have 4 seminars, so they're all very special. The other one that I'm really excited about is Ray Isle is really, he just came out with a great new book, right? And we worked with him on pulling out some folks of his book, but also we said, we have these great legacy brands and generations of winemakers, and how do we put that together in a seminar? And he said, it's all about knowing the winemaker. So he said, let's really focus on a seminar. So we have 4 different producers going to showcase 3 wines each. And these are like longtime producers. And they're going to be talking a little bit about really what those generational changes have been. So it's going to be an awesome discussion. Going deep, we're going to have some library wines we're showcasing, some wines that the winemakers of these panels are very passionate about. So I'm very excited about that. And also our friend Ray is just, anyone catch him recently? He was just on the Today Show, talking about Valentine's Day and awesome wines. Our neighbor just to the south here was featured. Love You Bunches was up on the
no way.
on the list. Yeah, he was.
What a great Valentine's Day thing to feature.
Yeah, I saw Pete Stoltman shout out.
Yeah,
that's pretty
Pete
cool.
Stoltman,
it.
I was hanging out with Amber at Lewis, and we were, it was right around the time before the Lunar New Year, and saw the Love You Bunches in there right before Valentine's Day. What a perfect Valentine's Day one, right? Stolman knocked it out of the park with that one.
Genius.
Yeah. Have you been on the water slide at the crib?
I have actually never been on the water slide at the crib. I've been invited, but I just have not made it.
Yeah,
so
I got invited through a friend, but couldn't go. Have you ever been on the water slide?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, pretty rad. Yeah, what about you, Stacey?
No, I have not.
We all got to crash Stolman's pad to get on the water slide.
Pete Stolman, hit me up. Yeah, let's do this.
All right, let's talk about the other two panels that we got going on.
Yeah, so the other one that, in the old world, we talk about first growths and villages and the premier cruise. And in California, we don't have those systems, right? We don't have those ways. But the board, I think everybody had so much fun saying, if we had a grand cruise system in California, what would the vineyards that we think would make that system as it relates to Pinot Noir? So we had a lot of fun, and we put together 10 different wineries, 10 different vineyards, and the wines that really emulate that. And David Glancy is going to really lead us through this discussion. And we're going to work ourselves from, I think, south to north is what we decided, and really looking at some of these premier vineyards. It's places you source from, Kobe, like Biennacido.
Yeah.
Eric, you're on this panel.
Yeah.
So this
Super
one's
cool.
really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stoked about it. I love actually choosing the vineyards. Honestly, I thought that was such a fun process to go through, because it is, on the board there's winemakers, somms, there's also like a variety of people in the wine industry. But to mention a couple, because I have a couple of my friends in it. Biennacido you mentioned, so
awesome.
Our boy Anthony Avila is going to be there. My guy Chris Hyde Vineyard. I mean, what are we doing? Right, that's Mary Edwards, Mount Eden. I mean, this is going to be great. Sanford and Benedict.
Of course.
I mean,
yeah.
It just killer. Yeah. Trey, our boy Trey. Savoy is going to be on there. I mean, it's going to be really rad to kind of go through all those, because these are the upper echelons of vineyards in California that are that there's people like us, Tally. I make a Rosemary's Pinot, but there's also other people that make Rosemary, just like Biennacido, like Kobe makes Biennacido. And I think it's important to kind of showcase these vineyards that people are clamoring to buy fruit from and make wine.
Yeah,
right?
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if there's any more designated vineyard than Biennacido. Like, it totally belongs on that list. It's incredible. Yeah. David Glancy, Master Sommelier, San Francisco Wine School. I mean, he is so good at leading these panels. This is one to go to. This sounds like really a lot of fun.
It's going to be incredible. And I can tell you, like, from putting it together, we had so much back and forth, and we were trying to be democratic and geographically correct. But then finally we were just like, these are just darn good vineyards.
Yeah.
And the reality is this seminar, it could take on a life of its own. Like, you could almost do a mini seminar within each of those vineyards because of the great talent of winemakers and the awesome fruit that's coming from those.
Yeah.
So it'll be really fun to see how it's received this year, and really what opportunity we have in the future to really build upon this seminar topic.
So I think did we hit all the panels?
The last one is our Bubbles and Bites.
Okay, cool.
So Bubbles and Bites is going to be led by Amanda McCrossan. So if you at all are on your Instagram, her handle is Somm Vivant. I'm telling you, she is really changing the way we talk about wine in terms of on the social channels. It's very exciting, just her presence out there and how she wants to really just also make wine approachable for everything.
Let's talk about the Vinfluencer for a second, because sometimes the influencers can be super gross. They can be really like cringy. And how do you, as a Stacy, and your board as a Kobe and Eric and the rest, how do we sort out who's got 86.9K followers or whoever, know they're honest followers, know they're like legit, know they're like solid to like the core of like, oh, these people are going to follow what I'm doing, and they're not just that throwaway influencer. I'm sorry, but it's real.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll just kick off and say, first of all, you have to look at the metrics, right? How many followers do we have? But we also really, what makes like an Amanda so interesting, she actually comes from the industry. So she was a sommelier at a restaurant. She has, she
knows her shit.
She knows what she's talking about,
exactly.
And she also knows how to relate to the consumer.
Yes.
She's done service. She's worked on that angle, and she really wants to relate to her audience overall. And I think that's really important. And there's this element of, which is very different than, she wants to keep it, I shouldn't say very different. She wants to keep it fun and approachable. And her seminar, it's the first time we've actually ever had bites with, in a seminar setting.
Cool.
So it's going to be Bubbles and Bites. And
Good
one
idea.
of the things that she actually is going to be asking is, okay, these are, beautiful bites that we're having, but what is it that you like to drink bubbles with at home? What is your go-to in your pantry when you want to open a great bottle of bubbles? For me, it's microwave popcorn. It's like, boom, I've got it there ready to go, and I've got my glass of bubbles, because it's always ready. But so my point is, she wants to relate to folks. If you follow her online, you'll see that her tips are very tangible, and I really appreciate that approach, because I think we need more of that freshness in the business.
I think you're totally right, and I love pairing bubbles with, gosh, anything. Audrey got me this book at Christmas where like pairs with like a Big Mac or just things that you eat, like random shit you'll eat. But I mean, Pringles and caviar, or like, or a double.
Yeah,
I mean, like, think of what does bubbles not go great with, right?
Well, it goes good at 9:30 in the morning.
Yes.
So that's
all
that's
you
huge
need to know
on Saturday.
Breakfast of champions.
Yes,
Right.
I think Saturday of WOPN, starting off with bubbles and some bites is going to help you out quite a bit.
Oh, it sounds so good.
But it's like the people that are going to be there, like, it's really good bubbles too.
Yeah, no,
so it's going to be,
it's legit.
It's legit stuff.
This is so cool. WorldofPinotNoir.com for all the fun that we are talking about. And I love how we're taking an event that by all accounts is at a luxurious establishment with a gorgeous 5-star backdrop, Pacific Ocean, and just the amenities around you are beautiful. But we are not afraid. And we're talking about a wine, let's be honest. We're talking about a wine that's not a gateway wine. Like, no one gets into Pinot. It's not their first, no. Like, this is a wine that you, like, kind of earn your way into once you learn about time and place and wine and stuff. And even for me, like, going to WOPN for a long time, I would, like, literally, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but I'll throw it out there because I'm just trying to be real, I would shun some of the Oregon and Washington Pinots because I wasn't quite ready for them yet. And then you're, like, ready to adopt them. You're like, oh man, there is so much beautiful, fun stuff in these more earthy and, like, stylistic Pinots, and you're just like, I'm here, I've arrived.
Well, listen, you mentioned Zap earlier.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Zinfandel was my gateway.
That's my gateway, right? Yeah.
I think that's a lot of us.
That's the intro, right?
That's the intro. But I think the more you drink wine, the more you pay attention to it, the more you think about it, right?
Yeah.
And Pinot Noir is one of those delicate varietals. They in nerdy terms, it's thin skin, so it really provides such you think through it constantly. There's all these layers of it, and it doesn't typically overwhelm you. It's something that's so thought-provoking, and I think that's what makes Pinot Noir so special.
Do you sometimes, as a winemaker, Kobe, almost, and not really, but figuratively, regret being a Pinot house because of all these things he's saying? Because it is such it's a wine, it's a grape that's tough. It's not easy to make. Like, you really got to focus. It doesn't make itself. It's not resilient. It's a really tough grape to make world class, and you have done it like Eric has in an incredible fashion for a long time now.
No, I think first off, it's a grape that showcases where it's grown, right? And that's kind of unique because you can kind of frame Cabernet as like growing in a hot climate, and it's tannic and fruity and it's got oak or whatever, but Pinot Noir really showcases the earth, the dirt where it's grown from, and then also the thumbprint of the winemaker and the direction that the winemaker takes it. So for us, I've kind of known nothing more or less about making wines. It's always been a wine, like, and I think most winemakers, whether they're making Cabernet or Rhone style varietals or Pinot or Chardonnay, everyone really pays attention to it. But with Pinot, it is paying that delicate attention to it and watching it evolve without having to manipulate it,
Let's talk about these wines with a sense of place, because obviously you could say the same for Zinfandel, really, where it really does showcase place, but it's very different than Pinot Noir. Zinfandel, these uneven clusters, these big football player shoulders, but like, we're talking thin skins, we're talking a lot of attention to detail with Pinot Noir in a way that you don't see with really any other grape.
No, and I mean, it all goes back to Burgundy, and in Burgundy, they, the monks spent 600-700 years figuring out the scope of the land and where they should plant Pinot Noir, where they should plant Chardonnay, and then why all these other varietals don't belong in the mix, So you got to think things through,
When you love Pinot the way like someone like you or Eric does, is it like, okay, I got my site, I know what my site is going to produce, but you also a moment ago talked about that thumbprint. Do you go, God, I do love what I just tasted up at Gramercy, or because when you go to World of Pinot Noir, you're tasting literally the world.
No, that's the cool thing about Pinot is like, each year, like, you're like, oh man, Russian River killed it on this vintage, where Sonoma, or not Sonoma so much, say Sonoma Coast or Oregon, whatever the 5 sub-AVAs of the Willamette Valley, you know, like everybody has their like special like moment, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I think with Pinots, just find that snapshot and to go with it, because it is such a light skin, thin varietal, but it's so powerful and it moves mountains.
Let's talk about a snapshot of a great Pinot Noir. It is this one in the glass, no joke. Eric, I want you to break your boy's wine down for me before he does, because we've been tasting this Biennacido. It's bomb. It is so good, and it just represents everything that I love about Pinot. And I might be a sucker because I am a sucker for Santa Maria Valley, and I know this happens to be Biennacido, but whether it's Solomon Hills or wherever, I do love that Santa Maria gives to Pinot Noir. Talk about this wine of your boy.
Yeah, totally. So this is the El Lugar Barrel Select 2020 Biennacido. It aged in a new punch, and this is one of his specialty wines. He's just bringing it out now, right? For your club members, correct?
Yeah, we'll release this March 6th or something.
March 6th, yeah.
Pre-release.
Press the button.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. March 6th coming to you.
No, but this is cool because I don't think I've had this in barrel. I do not believe we've opened a bottle of this together, which I'm, insulted, but we'll move off that. But no, this is cool because, one, it's punching, so it's 132 gallons. It's over 2 barrels, right? And so when you're putting wine in a puncheon, and you're like, oh, it's 100% new oak. Yeah, but a puncheon doesn't show 100% new oak, honestly. It actually, because the surface area of the wine versus the oak, right? And this wine, the nose is phenomenal. It is a beautiful, beautiful, pretty, like light red, like cranberry, pomegranate nose to it. Yeah. It's fantastic. It's great that it's a 2020, dude. Like it's been in bottle for some time too, so that's nice. But I think that delicate nature that we've been talking about, this is the epitome of that.
Yeah.
Right. It just goes. It's got so much nice complexity. It doesn't weigh you down whatsoever. And the problem with this wine is I want to just keep drinking more and more because it's so, there's like a salinity to it, a mouth-wateriness to it that that's what I like in Pinot Noir. Pinot Noirs are so transparent, and that's what I always say. Like, if there's a flaw in it, you notice it.
Yeah.
In other grapes, Cabs, then the flaw has to be very apparent to actually notice it. In Pinot, if there's just a little bit, that's it, right?
I love how you say that, like salinity, because it is like that ocean spray that you get with with a Pinot Noir like this from the Santa Maria Valley. Please break this down. Tell me what you did to put this one together. It's gorgeous.
I mean, to me, it's all about silky tannins, and Pinot Noir, I think kind of when you go back to Pinot, like one of the things that are your triggers, like why do you love Pinot? One of it is that silkiness, that the soft tannins, which it does have tannins, but they're not aggressive. Like we make a Syrah, and I love it because it's like my punk rock wine, where this is like classic rock, right? It's gonna never get old, like in terms of like a fan favorite. You'll keep listening to that, that song from the 70s or whatever. It stays classic, right? And I think Pinot Noir has that due to that sexiness of that silkiness. It loves oak, not a ton of oak, but this wine is 100% new oak, but it frames it so that it's not impacting the fruit in a over the top kind of way. It's just framing it and pushing those cherry notes, those red notes up a little bit, while adding a little bit more complexity to that mid palate into the finish.
When you first tasted this wine out the bottle, do you ever get this way with?
Well, the reason I bottled this wine is because I tasted it out of the pungent of the 500 liter, and I was like, man, this shit's really good, and
real.
I wanted to, and we didn't bottle the whole 500 liters by itself, so we kind of
blended some of it,
siphoned off the equivalent of 25 gallons, so 25 cases, which was about, a barrel worth. And then the other portion of that, or the last half of that, got put into our 2020 cuvee from Biennacido, which is sold out and long gone. So, but this is, again, you taste stuff in the cellar with either other winemakers. Like Eric and I love to taste a lot, and you're just like, there's certain times where you're just like, I don't want to blend this away. Like, this deserves, like, its moment. Like, this deserves its stage.
Its own SKU, its own bottle, yeah.
Being an owner, and, it's the only thing you got to do is, like, all right, buy glass, create a different label, get some good corks, and, fire up the bottling line,
And then charge a little more for it, I hope.
Yeah, we know. But,
yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's, it's more about...
It's a special wine.
It's more about just showcasing that snippet, that snapshot of that wine and that vineyard and that moment.
Now, business decision, do you go, okay, this is direct to my consumers, or is it...
Oh, it's 25 cases. So,
wine club only?
Not even... I mean, it wouldn't even get through our entire wine club.
Okay, so it's just... Okay.
We're gonna pair this with another wine that we only made 25 cases, another barrel that I came across in 2020 of Syrah.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I got to keep that separate too.
Cool.
So we're going to bundle those up and release them.
I love it. We're going to talk tally in a second. Stacy, worldofpinotnoir.com is the website. We went through some of the different panels and the tastings and the brunches and stuff. But there are some dinners that we want to kind of highlight. Some are sold out. Some still have got a little bit of play on them. And even if they don't have too much play, I think it's worth mentioning just what you do for folks when they come down to World of Pinot Noir for these special dinners.
Yeah, these dinners are, first of all, just absolutely amazing. The hosts of these dinners are pulling out all the stops. So the GoldenEye dinner, which is one of our featured dinners on Friday night, they're showcasing GoldenEye bubbles to start with. First of all, who knew GoldenEye made bubbles? I didn't know that. When it was so fun putting this together, and then they go deep into their cellars and they pull out some of these library wines that really aren't even available to the public to purchase any longer. So dinners are really about these special wines and bringing the talent and personalities at play. And our amazing SOM team really just pulls out all the stops to just have really a memorable experience at these dinners. You've attended them before.
Many of them. They're incredible. They're just awesome. They're so much fun. And you're right. A lot of surprises come up and you're just like, oh, we get a chance to taste what? And then it's like, oh, you're sitting next to James Oniveros. And no, it is like really a who's who and just a real deep dive into why Pinot Noir is just one of the absolute best.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then honestly, on Saturday night, this is another one that the Willamette Valley is celebrating 40 years as an AVA. Wow. So we talk about anniversaries and celebrations. In America, 40 years of winemaking is a pretty big deal, actually. Yeah. And so they're bringing 10 of their various winemakers here. I was speaking with Megan, who is leading all of this up with the Willamette Valley Vintners, and it's pretty incredible. The some of the brands, it's their first time ever to World of Pinot Noir, but they're coming because of this dinner. They're going to be showcasing 10 different wines, and they won't let us publish the wines because they're that special. So it's going to be a surprise and delight that night.
Wow.
You will find out when you get to the dinner. So you can see the producers are listed. You've got Adelsheim, you've got Christum, of course, you've got Lang, Long Play, Renaissance, St. Innocent. I mean, the list goes on. So there's 10 producers with the Willamette Valley. We're talking about Oregon, right? Oregon is coming to town in a really big way this year. It's very cool, actually.
That's rad.
I will say, though, because Christum's going to be there. Dan, who's the winemaker at Christum, was here in Central Coast for a long time. He used to work at the Cass House, the white tablecloth Cass House.
Oh, sure, back in the old Jensen days.
Exactly. Like he used to be a waiter there, and that's how I met him back in the day. And I'm thinking that was 2008, 2009, and then he went to Literai and then Christum. And he runs winemaking, runs farming there. He's a great guy. I'm like stoked just to see him there. I mean, that's going to be such a rad dinner.
Yeah. Oh, man, it sounds like so much fun. Any other dinners? I know you always do this Burgundy dinner, and I know this is one of those rare years where there might be just a little play in there if somebody wants their way in. This Burgundy dinner, it's always worth mentioning, even when it is sold out. I always like to mention it. This one, can you give me a little sneak peek on it?
Yeah. So, again, we're going to feature Ray aisle. So Ray, sees the world of wine. And just a reminder, Ray is the executive editor of Food and Wine magazine, and really just a fascinating resource in his own way. And then our somm team, our head somm, Chris Shackelford, he has really helped handpick the Burgundies that we're going to be showcasing. They're actually listed. You can look at the Burgundy wines that we're going to have. I'm really excited. Billicart is going to be the opening champagne, and I am personally a huge Billicart fan.
Oh, yeah.
But they're actually bringing their Brut Reserve. I didn't even know they made such a wine. And when I saw the label come through, I was like, oh, this is a whole new level than the Billicart that I usually like to have as a special bottle.
They keep taking it up notches.
That's what we're kicking off with. And let me tell you, there are some amazing vintages and wines on that particular list. And you're right, Adam, we do have a few seats left, but here's kind of how it works. You got to know somebody to know somebody.
Yeah, these aren't for the public.
These aren't for the public. And if you know somebody, you let them know that I can maybe help hook them up. So let's work out some deals.
Well, if you're listening to this and you feel like this dinner is for you and there's still room left, you can go to adammontiel.com, hit the Stay Connected tab. I will get you in touch with Stacy and we will get you tickets to this dinner, because this is one of those dinners. I mean, first of all, the price tag, you over-deliver so much more what you are able to consume in just wine. Forget the food, forget the service, forget the camaraderie, forget the fun and the unforgettable night you're going to have. All that aside, just the wine alone, you are over-delivering like 2-3-fold.
If you were to go buy all these bottles, which many of them you can't buy, right? That's what we really kind of create a specialness. I think we added up, it's about $1,000 worth of wine. That's just the wine alone. And you guys have actually been to this dinner before, right? Like I just am on the outside kind of doing the champion wave, but you guys have sat down and experienced these dinners.
No, it's one of those, like, you go to a fancy restaurant or whatever and you have the amazing service, right? Which kind of is like, wow, amazing service, right? But then you add the quality of the food, you're like, okay, this is worth it. But then you throw Burgundy wines on top of it, you're like, okay, well, I've kind of hit my pinnacle.
Is this Friday or Saturday?
This is on Saturday night. This is the granddaddy of them all. This is what finishes it off.
And you're only sitting with 40 people, 35 other people, so you're not in some mess hall, or whatever. But it's truly an amazing experience for not only the culinary experience, but then you throw in the wines on top of it. And Eric and I, we were lucky about 5-6 years ago to go, and we had it's the first wine I ever had that was 200% new oak. No, it's cool. So the domain in France, I can't remember where it was, but it was like a 25-year-old wine that they had aged or whatever. But it was a wine that they had put into a new barrel for the first year. The second year, they transferred that same wine into a new barrel, and then they bottled it. So I mean, it was truly amazing. And talk about a wine that was singing. It was really good. And then a bottle of sparkling Brut or
1998 Brut Rosé Tattinger,
which was like the color was all kind of messed up on it, but you taste it and it was just like so smooth. And
I love that this event really opens your eyes to so many different types of growing regions, because like as Kobe mentioned earlier, like, this is very much of a time and place varietal, but like again, kind of getting rid of my house palate and getting the chance to learn about like Oregon and Washington, these really like earthy and like
or Chile or like all you're just like, okay, I'm not going to go to Chile anytime soon, but I really want to check out like some of the Pinots that are down in that area. And sure enough, there's 2 or 3 producers from Chile, and then you can go to New Zealand, Australia. Last year the guy was it New Zealand or Australia? Those wines.
Australia. Those killer Australian wines last year.
Which was like, we always kind of like, I mean, piss on Australia, it's like Shiraz country.
Sure, right.
But like those Pinots were amazing,
I forgot about that.
And his mom or his dad was French. They basically, he said, you speak French like a donkey. Like, but he speaks perfect French. But he doesn't speak it like a Frenchman.
Right, yeah, no, right. It's just like an Aussie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so cool to be able to taste wines like that. World of Pinot Noir .com. We're going to get into more like what Stacey will tell us about the different tastings and what we can expect. I'm excited to talk to you, Eric, about Tally, because you've been there for a long time, and recently we've kind of advanced where now you've been the winemaker there for a while, but now they've put you in charge of the vineyards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good
yes.
for you, brother. Cheers to that, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Because I know, if we know anything about the Tally family, they care about their land and they care about the farming, and that's a huge thing to be bestowed with.
Yeah, no, it's great to take control of the vineyards. And I mean, listen, whoever, I've been there for a long time, 18 years now. I've dealt with several vineyard managers, all that are still really good friends of mine, and I've always had a part in farming, and because they're growing grapes for me. That's kind of how it works, right?
It's a relationship.
Absolutely, it is a relationship, and just to have the control and just be part of it. It's like I look at it as like vertically integrated kind of a thing. I'm literally grape to bottle now, like fully grape to bottle. It's just great Tally family for suggesting that I think you should do this. I think you'd be good at this. So
was that kind of like, oh damn? Did you even think that was a possibility, or you're like, oh man, another hat to wear? I mean, because I've been in, worked in radio for over 20 years. I know all about wearing a lot of hats. Like, what is that like? I know in the wine industry, often we can do that too. We can wear a lot of hats. What was that first like when that was brought to you? What were those thoughts like?
Initially, it was like obviously lots of excitement. I know the vineyards literally better than anybody as it is, just for the fact that I've been here for so long, and how we do things at Tally. We do not have big giant blocks. We have a lot of small blocks, and we pick everything separate. We ferment everything separate, and then I use that and I figure out how I want to blend them together. So I know those blocks very well. I know these vineyards, and I'm stoked to do it. It's there's some scariness to be like, oh, you got another hat, right? But I look at things. It was like when I became winemaker in 2010. I mean, things come at you like fastballs when it starts. You're a baseball player. A fastball looks like it's coming really fast.
And even in your own head, you might not know that you're ready, but you wouldn't have been asked if you're not. Like someone else from the outside saw you were ready.
Right, but eventually those fastballs, you see them and they slow down because people do hit 100 mile per hour fastballs.
Yeah,
they hit 90 mile per hour fastball
out the park.
Exactly, and so it's there's a lot of stuff up front, but I'm fully comfortable with these guys that I have at the vineyard. They've been working with me for a long time as it is. We have a great relationship. We're just gonna continue to kick ass and make great wine. I mean no problem.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What day are you pouring?
I am pouring Saturday.
Yeah.
I think.
Are you pouring Friday, Kobe?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Friday.
Yeah. Seminar Friday.
I'm a Friday pourer.
You like the Friday?
Well, it's just kind of like, then you're like, I'm done for the weekend.
Yes.
And then it's like Saturday. You
Walk
can just
around.
be like, all right, giddy up.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Marketing sets up which day, so I'm pretty sure it's Saturday this year.
Elgar has great marketing. So.
Yeah. Elgar marketing team is smart.
I'll steal you from the table for a minute.
Yeah, let's
just
do
to
that.
get you on the show a little bit.
Please.
I think that'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Get you on with it. We'll get you some of that. We'll get you with Bernard Retronaz. Get you some of that.
That's what we should do. We should get Bernard on there. We tell him to bring some Corton. And
yes.
Let's get after it. Yeah, for sure.
I love it. WorldofPinotNoir.com. You got to see us. We're going to be there. The event goes from February 29th through March 3rd. Second.
Yeah.
Right. Thursday,
Sunday,
Friday,
everyone's
Saturday.
done.
Yeah, everyone's done. That's where we wrap up. Let me get out of here.
I just want to say something. If people are looking just for a day trip to the event, I mean, do a lunch and do the grand tasting, and you'll have an amazing experience.
That's a great point.
I mean, some of the lunches are the most, in my opinion, the hidden gems.
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
You're getting poured wines by the maker or the owner in an amazing setting at Bacara, and you're having wines that that aren't on their everyday tasting list.
No, right.
If they even have a tasting room,
right?
So
yeah,
it's pretty cool. Like I'm personally going to go to the Santa Cruz lunch.
Fun.
I think the Santa Cruz AVA is one of the most appreciated AVAs in California.
Okay, good to know. Okay.
Nathan Candler, stand up.
Exactly. And,
Okay.
you've got Claude de la Tech, you've got Reese, you've
Thomas
got
Fogarty.
Thomas Fogarty. I mean, it's like, again, like you get in your car and you go drive up to the Santa Cruz Mountains, you're going to spend a decent amount of money on gas and time. I mean, it's all right here at one table for you.
It's so good.
And then you get to go to the grand tasting afterwards and explore kind of some other areas of either California, Oregon, or around the world.
Yeah, worldofpinotnoir.com. Let's round out some of the other, Stacy, auxiliary events that we may have left behind as of yet, and just some of the other kind of little features we want to make sure people know about.
Well, I just want to continue on the lunches that Kobe had said. Somebody asked me recently if it's my first time to World of Pinot, like how do I plan my strategy?
Yeah.
And I love what you said about start with a grand tasting and add on a lunch, and you're going to have a fantastic day.
It's amazing. It's the best day on the Central Coast of California.
Yeah, it truly is, and you can make a day trip out of it.
Yeah.
I have a friend down in Paso Robles who she'll be like, oh, it's my day to go spend at Bacara, and she just makes a day trip. She goes, she spends the day doing her thing, and then she just hangs out on the resort until she's ready to come home, and it can make for a really fun getaway. But I wanted to follow up on a couple additional lunches that I think are just really special. So I agree on that Santa Cruz. You've got 11 different producers there. It's going to be a cool walk around. Just wow, undiscovered gems. But also the Russian River Valley. So we're talking about celebrating. They are 40 years into their AVA as well, and they are bringing the women of the Russian River Valley to play, and it's going to be very cool actually on that front. Then on Saturday, 2 other really special lunches. Back to this anniversary theme. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on anniversaries and celebrating this year. But we've got Tolosa right here in our own backyard celebrating
Big 25
years.
Cool.
So they're going to come to town, showcase, and again, you're going to see some very cool library wines in that lineup. And then our friend Domaine Della, David Della, is celebrating 10 years, and I know his son's going to be with him. He's really passionate right now about the next generation and what's happening on that front as well. So
it's so interesting when you talked about these folks who are into their scene and into their brand, and then they do have kids, and those kids get to an age where they're considering, are they feeling it? Are they not feeling it? And sometimes folks get lucky enough where they're feeling it, they're all in, and then like I've talked to whether it's like Matt Trevison or some of these other ones where like I don't know, or like somebody like they ain't into it, like, and then it's like, okay, well then what's next? I mean, winemaking is such, I don't know if there's any more generational kind of like inherent like grasp on the generations that winemaking has on the family and what is next. Because when you have one of these stories that ends up being passed down and then down and down, and some of these stories go 5, 6, 7 or whatever, I mean, it just adds to the legacy so much.
It does, and it's
so cool.
It is very cool. Last year, David didn't make it to World of Pinot, and honestly, I kept asking the team, "Is he okay?" Because he's always letting us know what's going on. We see him all the time, but his son was there, and his son had a team of bros with him, and let me tell you, they rocked their space in the ground tasting. So I was like, "All right, he's all about the next generation," and they
For
showed
real.
up.
Yeah,
and
they know what's up.
Really interesting to see that happening, and so it is fun to see the next group coming in, what's happening on that front. I think it's very cool, and World of Pinot just is very, very special. And this year, I think the celebrations and anniversaries are going to bring everything into mix.
Yeah, everything's going to be dialed in for this World
Maybe
of
some
Pinot Noir.
proposals, right?
Yeah, and we've had proposals in the past, and I know that the couple that has been proposed in the past, which you know them, right?
I was at their wedding. I mean, Brian and Shemaine Seamus. I mean, come on.
They got engaged there?
They got engaged
I know them
at
both
World
well.
Pinot Noir.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and they're both in the wine industry.
Did he do it did he do it in front of everyone or like private, or how did he do it?
I don't think he did it in front of everybody.
If somebody says, Stacy,
so.
because like if you're in that grand car room, there are those balconies that like line,
yeah, up top.
You rented a plane.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Check it. Yeah.
I mean, like Ritz Carlton will they're all about hospitality. They'll throw it down.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. Worldofpinotnoir.com. There are dinners, there are lunches, there are panels, and all of these over the years, I've done, a panel here or a lunch here or a dinner here. They're all so much fun, and you end up taking memories from them that almost exceed the grand tasting because they're so special and so intimate, and the camaraderie is so second to none. But these grand tastings are just in and of themselves better than any other wine event that focuses on one varietal. I mean, Pinot is across the board. If it's going to be this or that or here or there or Oregon to Santa Maria to Chile to whatever. So I just think this is going to be, I'm looking forward, of course, to the Big 25 next year. But I mean, every year, Stacey, and with your team, this event gets better and better.
Thank you. And there's a way you can take a piece of World of Pinot Noir home with you.
Yeah.
We have the silent auction that should not be missed.
Oh, please, let's go. Yes.
It's all online now. We've changed it. The COVID taught us so many things, right?
Yeah.
And it also taught us that, hey, we all love our phones more than ever, and we love a QR code. So starting on Monday, the week of February 19th, we actually are going to be putting all of our auction lots up for display, and the bidding will begin the following week. So we're going to actually have a whole week of bidding, and these guys have actually all put up magnums on there. So I always love it. It's a great place. I love a magnum. It's so much fun. Who doesn't want to have a magnum of wine to take to a dinner party, right?
I know, right?
And so the World of Pinot is the place you can go shopping, literally. And it goes back to a great cause. We actually help with education, really with Cal Poly, and it goes back to support overall the organization in terms of keeping this mission alive of preserving and celebrating the World of Pinot Noir.
Magnums are the shit. Someone was just telling me about a big bottle party. Have you ever been to a big bottle party?
Oh, I have.
So not just a bottle share. A big bottle party is like next level.
Yeah.
Like,
You gotta have a big group though.
Because you're talking about 1.5s per bottle, so it's like you gotta
well,
sort
normally
through that.
when people bring big bottles, they're older bottles too.
I know.
So you're just reaping the benefits.
And those bottles, I've been told, age even better than the 750s.
Absolutely. It's slower. Absolutely. Yeah, because you put the same size cork in there, but it's double the wine.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go to, corks get bigger, 3 liter,
6 liter. Yeah, sure.
But we used to do 9 liters at Tally.
What?
And there are 9 liters were a normal cork. And so, but it was let's just say pouring glasses.
No, I've done that before. Because you have like
shaking.
the one I was at like Cass or something, and it had like Methuselah, Jeroboam, whatever the word was, and it's like you have like a brace because they must have not trusted me. It's like this whole thing you wear on your shoulders to kind of like, dude, it's so cool. Large formats are the bomb.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah.
So get it on the auction, worldofpinotnoir.com for that.
Yep, you go right there. You'll see the auction tab, and check it out because we're gonna have a trip. We've got a trip I think that's coming to Burgundy this year actually for sale. So we did this last year. We put a couple trips up and people got excited about them. So we've got some fun surprises in the silent auction also.
I encourage people to go to worldofpinotnoir.com, and if you're going to come down, I would say if you can, both days, because like Kobe noted earlier, there are different wines pouring on Friday to Saturday. You guys are cool to let the folks who are out of state, out of the country, they still pour both days?
Out of state and out of country, yes, they do get to pour both days.
That makes sense because we really want to get a chance to give them the exposure that they deserve. But I mean, California is Pinot country, so like there's so much love to spread around. We got 2 days to do it. We got lunches and dinners and panels to educate you on what might be the best grape ever. I mean, like it's so great when you and your wine, like passion and love, your individual, like one's own path on wine. When you find Pinot, there's just nothing else like it, dude.
Yeah. Pinot's the best. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that Pinot Noir, that's what everybody should be drinking, frankly. But I think you go to World of Pinot Noir, you go to the grand tasting, and you taste the spectrum of Pinot Noirs, and you see that it's not this one monolithic thing. It's just giant spectrum of flavors.
It's not the grocery store Pinot that people drink.
No, this
is serious,
legit,
and it's not snooty. It's
not at all.
No.
Being in a really nice place and having all this
and that's the thing is breaking down those barriers. No, because it's breaking down those barriers. Everyone's welcome. There's no one like gonna throw up their thumb to you.
No, shit, you let me there, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. I'm there. El Lugar's there, so it's all good. So, but yeah, no, it's going to be an event. It is an event that people can feel welcome. They can enjoy themselves. They can really explore. because I think that's where you learn. You taste, and you kind of frame, okay, Willamette Valley kind of tastes like this. I've tasted like 6 or 8 of these wines. They have this kind of certain characteristic. Okay, I can kind of file this back.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over to Russian River and kind of taste some Russian River wines. Okay, they have a certain kind of profile to them. And so you can kind of, from that, you can gauge, like, okay, I really like Pinot in general, but I really like specifically Pinots from the Savoy Vineyard up in Anderson Valley, you know, so you can geek out like that. So.
Oh, we just did Anderson Valley on a road trip for our last vacation. So much fun. Kobe, we were at El Lugar, like you mentioned, the new tasting room, Duncan Alley, baby. The Lobro neighborhood of SLO is the most exciting aspect of what is happening in San Luis Obispo, which, of course, is the county seat for San Luis Obispo County, which encapsulates so much. But SLO right now is hot, and this Duncan Alley and this Lobro neighborhood is really, really exciting. We've taken industrial to a level where we got lights, roll-up doors, chic establishments, murals. What is going on at El Lugar? How can people learn to taste here?
Go to our website, elugarwines.com. We're 3197 Duncan Road, Unit C, which is in San Luis Obispo. There's a couple other wineries. We have Rondonnay, which they don't make Pinot Noir. Like the other wineries, and they don't make Pinot Noir.
Right.
No, but I'm totally joshing.
No.
They're good people. Rondonnay, they make Rhone style wine.
No, sure.
Obviously.
And then Cromavera, they specialize more in like Spanish varietals, so they do Grenache and Tempranillo.
Yeah.
And then Shindig. So I'm not a cider person, but they've converted me. I think they make the best cider on the Central Coast.
Ancient Owl.
They've got 24 beers on tap, or 24 taps flowing. But yeah, we have our production here. We have our winery here, tasting room.
By appointment, walk in.
Thursday through Sunday we're open 12 to 5, and then extended hours on Saturday and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday, and then
Walk in or appointment. Are you cool with walk-ins?
Walk-ins are great.
Dope.
Walk-ins are great.
Love
But
it.
you can go on our online and you can make
Check
a
it out.
reservation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Before I get final thoughts on WOPN with you, Stacy, Tally Vineyards, how do we taste?
Yeah, tallyvineyards.com to check out our website. But definitely come out. We're out in the Rio Grande Valley. It's such a beautiful place out there. Just please come out.
Yeah.
Because once you're out there, especially this time of year. Yeah.
So from El Lugar, where we're at, to Tally is 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, people think it's so far to get out to Tally. It's not. It's the
Especially with the back roads when you know
It's the
them,
most bullshit excuse people have, because, you know what, I'm going to just take over on Eric right now.
Yeah.
They make the best Chard and Pinot Noir on the Central Coast. Like, I
Thank you.
It's great. And it's close. It's close to San Luis. It's close to Rio Grande, obviously.
And when you're here at El Lugar, before you go over to Tally, ask them the back roads.
Yeah.
Like, they'll tell you how to get there and get there quick.
No, the way to do it is you start at Tally and you work your way back to San Luis.
Oh,
you come
see?
to El Lugar.
That's Bob.
Because then you're back in slow.
Yeah,
you
for real.
You gotta make these drives shorter.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Yeah.
But the back roads allow it all to happen, like you said, super quick.
Yeah.
Stacy, worldofpinotnoir.com, final thoughts and things we should know about before this epic event.
Well, first of all, if you even have a hesitation of not coming after you've listened to the fun that we've had here tonight, please join us. It's going to be fantastic. So February 29th through March 2nd, worldofpinotnoir.com. Check it out. So many opportunities. Make a day trip out of it. Make a weekend out of it. Come for one event. Come for many. Come see Eric. Come see Kobe. Let's do this. It's super fun.
If you are interested still in that Burgundy dinner, go to adammontiel.com. If you know someone, go to adammontiel.com. We'll get you in if there are still tickets. Otherwise, these lunches, these panels, these dinners, find out what's available. Got to see you at these tastings. worldofpinotnoir.com. Kobe, thank you so much for having us.
Hey, thank
your
you.
beautiful new spot. Your wine, God, that Pianocito, the Syrah, everything has been gorgeous. You've been one of my favorites for a while. Eric, I love you, man. You the same. Stacy, thank you so much for having me at World of Pinot Noir and having us here. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.